Have you ever heard words that seemed innocent at first, but left you feeling uneasy? There are certain phrases that might sound harmless, even sweet, but behind those words often hide manipulative intentions and emotional unavailability. When we ignore these warning signs, we risk entering relationships that drain our energy, cloud our judgment, and disconnect us from our inner strength. Carl Jung, the renowned Swiss psychologist, spoke about the shadow unconscious, that deep part of our psyche where we hide traits we deny in ourselves and project onto others. And it's precisely in this shadow where toxic relationship patterns take root. Today, I'll reveal 5 phrases that, when spoken by a man, should immediately raise red flags. This isn't just about avoiding conflict. It's about recognizing when there's a psychological game being played, one that could cost you your emotional peace and self-respect. As Seneca wisely said, it's not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. And often, we waste precious time on people who simply don't deserve it. Pay close attention to these phrases, because each carries a deeper and more dangerous meaning than appears on the surface. Ignoring them could lead you into a relationship where you lose your focus, your self-worth, and most importantly, your connection to yourself. Stay with me until the end, because beyond helping you identify these red flags, I'll show you how to respond with strength and emotional intelligence without losing your center. Let's begin. Red flag number 1. You have to accept me as I am. At first glance, this might sound like authentic self-expression, even vulnerability. But be careful. When used to justify harmful behavior, this becomes one of the most dangerous red flags. Jung taught us that self-knowledge is the beginning of wisdom, but true growth starts when we stop making excuses and begin integrating our shadows. When someone hides behind, "That's just how I am," to avoid personal growth, you're not dealing with authenticity. You're facing someone who refuses to evolve. This phrase typically emerges after you've already noticed troubling patterns, perhaps emotional manipulation, avoiding responsibility, or passive-aggressive behavior. And when you try to address these issues, he plays the victim or accuses you of trying to change him. Here's the truth. Accepting someone doesn't mean tolerating the unacceptable. True authenticity isn't about remaining unchanged. It's about having the courage to grow. As Marcus Aurelius said, the perfection of character is to live each day as if it were your last, without laziness, without pretense. A conscious woman who's committed to her own growth shouldn't carry the burden of a man unwilling to grow. Being in such a relationship is like rowing a boat alone, while he refuses to even step in. Accepting this phrase without question dooms you to a future of repeated excuses and broken promises. A dynamic where you do all the emotional work. Remember, our environment shapes our development. If the person you share your life with doesn't help you grow, they're only holding you back. Red flag number 2. All my exes were crazy or toxic. When a man says this, it might initially sound like he's just venting about past relationships. Don't be fooled. Behind those words lies a darker pattern, a clear sign of victimhood, emotional immaturity, and projection. According to Stoic philosophy, real personal growth begins with honest self-examination. Epictetus made it clear. It's not events that disturb us, but our interpretation of them. So when someone blames all their exes for everything that went wrong, never reflecting on their own role in those conflicts, they're avoiding facing their own reflection. Jung taught that what we don't make conscious ends up controlling us from the shadows. Men who speak poorly of all their exes are often projecting their own unresolved issues. This reveals a dangerous mindset, that of the chronic victim who rarely takes responsibility for their actions. Ask yourself, Is it truly possible that all his exes were toxic? Or might there be a pattern he refuses to acknowledge? A woman who knows her worth must seriously consider this question. Jung said, "What we deny submits us." Being with someone who doesn't recognize their emotional responsibility is like building a house on sand. No matter how hard you try to create something healthy, they'll keep acting out the same unconscious script. And here's the worst part. Sooner or later, the story he tells about his exes will be told about you. Because someone who needs to play the victim will always find a new person to blame. If you're finding value in these insights, take a moment right now to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. This community is growing with women who are committed to healthy relationships and personal growth. Like this video if you've ever encountered these red flags, and share your experiences in the comments below. Your story might help someone else recognize these patterns. Now, let's continue with 3 more critical warning signs you shouldn't ignore. Red flag number 3. If you really loved me, you'd do what I ask. This is one of the most subtle yet damaging forms of emotional blackmail. While it might seem like a heartfelt request, look closer and you'll find manipulative pressure, using your sense of love to gain control. The Stoics believed true love cannot be imposed, it must be chosen freely. Epictetus said, "No one can enslave you emotionally unless you allow it." This phrase is designed precisely to turn affection into a tool of control. When a man says this to you, he's drawing an invisible line that conditions your affection, essentially saying, "Only if you do what I want are you worthy of my love." That's not love. It's emotional manipulation disguised as affection. An emotionally mature woman must distinguish between a healthy request and a hidden demand. Giving in may seem like an act of love in the moment, but over time, you start losing parts of yourself, your authenticity, boundaries, and personal power. The danger escalates as the demands grow. What starts as a test of love becomes a routine of emotional submission until you're no longer sure if you're acting out of love or fear of losing him. Remember, you're not here to please anyone at the cost of yourself. You deserve a relationship where you can grow, express yourself, and be authentic without conditions. Red flag number 4. You're not enough for me. Hearing these words from someone who claims to love you can be devastating. It's not just criticism, it's a direct attack on your identity, value, and essence. Jung explained that many people project their inner dissatisfaction onto others. When a man tells you that you're not enough, he's actually revealing his own emptiness, distorted expectations, and need for control. He's trying to make you feel small, so you become dependent on his validation. Stoic philosophy reminds us that our true worth doesn't depend on others' judgments, but on our virtue, actions, and inner coherence. Marcus Aurelius advised, "Do not let another man's soul rule over yours." That's exactly what this phrase attempts, to rule you through insecurity. Someone who suggests you're not enough is trying to make you work harder, not out of love, but to earn their approval. In this game, you'll always lose because the goalpost keeps moving. Today, you're not enough for one reason. Tomorrow, another, until you're left exhausted and doubting things you once knew with certainty. A conscious woman doesn't beg for affection or feel compelled to prove her worth. You're not here to fit into someone else's ever-changing expectations, but to share your life with someone who values you as you are and inspires growth, not self-doubt. As Jung said, you cannot make someone see your light if they are only searching for their shadows. True confidence emerges when a woman learns to validate herself, trust her intuition, and live according to her own values. Red flag number 5. Do whatever you want, said with passive aggression. When delivered with irony, coldness, or resentment, this phrase isn't offering freedom. It's setting an emotional trap designed to make you feel guilty for making your own decisions. He's not relinquishing control. He's disguising manipulation as permission. Jung spoke of the hidden ways people manipulate from their shadow, and this phrase exemplifies it perfectly. He's not expressing his true feelings or thoughts, but expects you to guess them. If you don't, prepare for guilt, drama, or reproach. Stoic philosophy teaches that healthy relationships require clear, direct communication. Seneca summarized it perfectly. Speak in a way that your words don't require interpretation. When someone speaks in riddles with double meanings, they're not communicating, they're emotionally manipulating. These phrases place you in constant uncertainty, trying to interpret, please, and avoid negative reactions until you realize you're living according to their emotions, not your own. A woman with emotional intelligence should never play this game. The best response to do whatever you want is literal action. Do exactly that without fear, unnecessary explanations, or falling into their emotional web. This breaks the cycle of manipulation and forces the other person to either communicate directly or sit alone in their passive-aggressive silence. Both Jung and the Stoics agree that living with clarity and authenticity leads to true freedom. That freedom begins when you stop reacting and start choosing your words, boundaries, and who deserves your energy. As we've seen throughout this video, phrases that might seem harmless at first are often clear warning signs. If not recognized in time, they can lead you into relationships that drain your energy, focus, and essence. Stoic philosophy and Jung's psychology invite us to look beyond words to see patterns, not just moments, and to protect our emotional stability with wisdom. It's not about judging others, it's about honoring yourself. Remember that healthy love doesn't hide behind games or manipulation. It shows up with transparency. Inner peace comes when your thoughts, words, and actions are in harmony, and a relationship worth having will strengthen your sense of self, not diminish it. If this video has helped you recognize patterns in your own relationships, don't keep this knowledge to yourself. Share it with someone who might need to hear it. Hit the like button if you found value here, and subscribe for more insights on building emotional intelligence and healthy relationships. Drop a comment sharing which of these red flags resonated most with you. Your perspective might be exactly what another viewer needs to hear today. Remember, protecting your peace isn't selfish, it's necessary. Until next time, stay conscious, stay strong, and never settle for less than you deserve.